Hi everyone, I'm Any New Province, and this week we're playing Grixis Delver for Net Benefits, the series where we explore the benefits of net decking in Pauper. We're most used to seeing Grixis Delver as a legacy archetype, but this week we're going to find out how Shane Carnahan used it to take a top 8 finish in a Pennsylvania Pauper tournament. As always, you can find the deck list in the description down below. While you're down there, if you wouldn't mind liking the video and subscribing to the channel, I'd seriously appreciate it. It's a great way to let me know you've enjoyed everything, and it really encourages me to keep making great Pauper content. Alright, let's have a look at Grixis Delver by Shane Carnahan. Let's start with our creatures. Delver of Secrets is our main threat and needs no introduction. If we can flip this on turn 2, our opponent will have to answer it or die in just the next few turns. Next, we have Thermo Alchemist, who often joins Delver in these Grixis builds because it benefits so much from the Xerox style cantrip suite. Our main draw to black is Gurmag Angler, which can eat up all of our card draw spells once they've resolved and put even more pressure on our opponent that they'll have to answer. Our best turn 1 is a Delver of Secrets. After that, we're either going to start churning through our deck to try and flip our Delver, or we'll be lucky enough to commit a Thermo Alchemist on turn 2 and get some extra value and damage off of any spells we use to set up the top of our deck. The spells we'll be using to draw cards and set up the top of our deck are some of the best in the format. Brainstorm is a difficult card to sequence with, but can resemble an Ancestral Recall when resolved correctly. Ponder is similar in complexity, but can also serve as a shuffle effect for Brainstorm when required. Finally, Preordain keeps our cards flowing in the right order, while Manamorphose and Gitaxian Probe come down for free to keep our Alchemist pinging. Once we're representing some board presence, our engine should start to spin out of control. Thermo Alchemist will be pinging away our opponent's life total until we commit a Gurmag Angler. Then we'll start using the spells from our next package to prevent our opponent from interacting with us or accelerate our own clock. Shane's deck is surprisingly light on interaction, running only the most efficient forms of Counter Magic and Burn. Daze, yet another free spell, powers up and protects our Thermo Alchemist, while Lightning Bolt can remove our opponent's early creatures or take care of the rest of our opponent's life total if our Delver and Alchemist have done enough work early on. Like any 3-color Pauper mana base, this one is intricate with 2 Terramorphic Expanse and 1 Ash Barrens as fetches. We have 3 Swiftwater Cliffs as standard Pauper duels, and a carefully crafted suite of basics in 7 islands, 2 mountains, and 1 swamp. Just enough sources to fetch and lots of islands to make sure we're Xeroxing effectively as early as possible. Deciding which colors of mana to fetch early in the game is always the most difficult part of playing a 3-color Pauper deck. We'll have to balance these shuffle effects with casting our Brainstorms as well. It's times like these when I'd really love to have some of the Brewer's insight on early turn sequencing. Alright, let's have a look at this sideboard. We start with 1 copy of Cartouche of Ambition, which can put a counter on Tireless Tribe and gain us life against Burn. We have 1 copy of Dispel for more efficient counter magic against Stompy or decks that have a lot of instants. We have a copy of Electrickery for keeping all of those X1s in check. We have a copy of Gorilla Shaman for blowing up Affinity's lands, a copy of Gutshot for killing a fairy out of the sky or a Tireless Tribe on the stack. We have 3 copies of Hydroblast and 4 copies of Pyroblast, great Elemental Blast abilities for keeping all of those red and blue decks in check. We have 1 copy of Reaping the Graves for getting our creatures out of the graveyard, 1 copy of Relic of Progenitus to prevent our opponent from getting creatures out of their graveyard, and 1 copy of Swirling Sandstorm to make sure things don't get too wide. And there you have it, Grixis Delver by Shane Carnahan. We're going to take this deck into a league at twitch.tv/AnyNewProvince this Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Atlantic time. We're there every Wednesday night playing competitive Pauper decks. Before I go, I just want to remind you that you can see the full deck list, like the video, or subscribe to the channel down below. I'd seriously appreciate it. It's a great way to let me know you've enjoyed everything, and it really encourages me to keep making great Pauper content. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deck tech, and hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday night.